I'm in Central Highlands of Vietnam, and the hotel behind me is where I am staying. This is absolutely unremarkable town. There is nothing interesting except one thing. About 1 kilometer from here is DLI, Dalat International Airport, and I'm flying tomorrow from here to Saigon, so I decided to stay in that hotel behind me. Other than that, I think it's a typical Vietnamese rural town. Nothing special about it, but I will take a walk. For one thing, the rain stopped. Who knows for how long? 5 minutes, an hour. In the meantime, I will talk a little bit about my experiences in Vietnam. Of course, my personal experiences. Everyone has his own or her own. Last time I came in Vietnam about 25 years ago, everything looked very, very different. You wouldn't see cars on the road. You would see some motorcycles, but mostly bicycles. At that time, Vietnam was still classified as a poor country, and it was. Recently, though, Vietnam moved to kind of mid-range group of countries based on the very broad classification of developed countries on the top, mid-range like Vietnam nowadays, and poor developing countries. And you can see the cars now everywhere, of course motorcycles, some of the cars pretty luxurious or upscale. It's not like it used to be. Vietnam greatly benefited from opening its economy and also from the pandemic, because many companies have been escaping, quote unquote, from China, and Vietnam became a new manufacturing hub. Nowadays, if you live in the West and you look at a little label on your running shoes or on your clothes even, you will probably see a little label saying made in Vietnam. But also many high-tech companies moved here, for example Intel and many more. So yeah, it helps the country a lot, even though I remember some article about Intel saying they have a problem finding qualified employees because the graduates from the colleges and universities in Vietnam are absolutely not up to even entry-level jobs. And from what I know is Vietnamese school system has been traditionally focused on obedience to the teacher or discipline in the classroom, which is not a bad thing, I think. But also the whole system was based on memorizing, not on really learning, because memorizing is not learning. So when people memorize something, especially for the tests, they quickly forget, and even if they retain the knowledge, once they are out of the comfort zone, they don't know how to solve problems, and that has been a big issue with Vietnamese graduates. Even though nowadays the top schools in Vietnam are improving, I believe this is still in 90% of cases what it is. people come out with some memorized knowledge, and that's about it. This may be probably good for some medical professions, even though I'm not quite sure that only memorize things makes a good doctor, but it is what it is. Cars everywhere nowadays, even though motorcycles are still very widely used. Every bank has a security guard, but not only bank, bigger businesses also. Makes you wonder why. And there are not many tourists here, definitely not from the west, because there is absolutely no reason to come to this town except for the airport, and you get to the airport, and from the airport as soon as possible. You don't stay here. And the reason I'm wearing this old beaten up shirt is that it has long sleeves. The reason is that Vietnam currently goes through a pretty significant wave of dengue fever. If you never heard about it, you are lucky. It's endemic disease in tropical countries. It's actually a deadly disease, even though most people survive. And it's transmitted by mosquitoes, special kind of mosquitoes. There are four types or four different dengue fever diseases, and interestingly enough, once you get infected by a mosquito bite, you are immune to that particular dengue fever strain for life, but you can still get any of the three or all three other ones. So if you've been infected 4 times in your lifetime, you are set for life. It's a nasty disease that prevents clotting and has many unpleasant symptoms: headaches, diarrhea, not necessarily in that order, swollen lymph nodes, nausea, but the main thing is blood clotting. So many people develop internal bleeding, they have black eyes, bleeding gums. This town is a district capital, and Heineken available, Tiger, Budweiser, and so on. Yeah, grocery store looks good from the outside. And getting back to the dengue fever, yeah, people can die from it, and some of them die, even though mortality is not that high. It is still a danger. And also develop a muscle pain, joint pain. It's a nasty thing. I actually was looking into getting vaccinated in the US, but what I found out, interestingly enough, that there is a vaccination approved by FDA in the US for children until the age of 6, not for adults, which is kind of peculiar in my opinion. A survivor here, a little dog. Why I'm saying a survivor? Because Vietnamese people, at least many of them, eat dog meat, and it's considered delicacy. And I am up to many things, but not to eating a dog meat. Kind of I would have a mental issue with that, I think. It seems like a very nasty thing. But I guess every culture has something that's not accepted by some other ones. And this is one of them, at least for me. Oh, looks like a duck or chicken, who knows. Okay, so I got into a street that's a little bit more or less noisy, more quiet than the previous one. But of course it is even more boring. Across the street is it a pharmacy? Yes. They are using green cross on the pharmacies here. And even though they say it is in the highlands and the weather is milder, it can still get crazy hot here. Sun is just kind of getting through the clouds and I feel it. It's hot. Ah, Hyundai Elantra. Another Hyundai across the street. Kia here ahead. And I think Honda, yeah. The country and its people are getting middle class, I guess, based on the Western standards. Some of the people here are actually crazy rich from what I have seen, based on the houses and, you know, some of them are servants, because the labor here is not expensive. Well, for some people, you can get a servant, cleaner, cook for, I don't know, a couple dollars an hour. So do your math. Maybe in Saigon it's higher, more expensive, quite possibly, but in the hinterlands, no, not really. Oh, it looks like some sit-down restaurant ahead of me. Let's have a look. I want to eat something cooked. Even though I like banh mi, the Vietnamese sandwich, which is pretty delicious, but when you look how they make it or how it's made, usually they have a big basket of really beautiful French-inspired bread, kind of, and flies are sitting on it, so then just the street people take the stuff, make the sandwich for you, and I think I learned my lesson. Even though I love the taste, I will not have it. So the place looked more like a place for a drink. So maybe across the street, but they appear to be closed because it's middle of the day. So the lunch is over and dinner is hours away. Yeah, no customers here. I think it's closed, kind of. Yeah, again, coffee thing, even though they have some Singaporean food here, also they claim. No customers here. Pots are cold, so no such luck. Yeah, coffee place again. Okay. So time to go back towards the hotel. I clearly missed my window of opportunity to get a lunch. I think it's around 2:30 p.m. so everything closed for several hours. Okay, safely cross the street. I like street food very much, but I had some serious incidents in Asia with street food and in Vietnam in particular. So when I look for a place to eat, I look if they have running water or if they are just washing the bowls or plates in some canister over and over again, which is a pretty good way how to get infected with some shit. This place claims it's a bakery. I'm a sucker for bread. So let's take a peek what this bakery offers. Okay, an army of motorcycles coming at me. Just what I need. Some fancy cake. No way, Jose. Yeah, it's a cake place. Yeah, and this is the place I walked by. Closed, but they have some roasted chicken there, or duck, whatever it is. Okay, so the journey continues. Dim Sum Duc Trong. Dim Sum, huh? Would be nice. Duc Trong is the name of the province or the town here, not quite sure. Well, they say it's on the second floor, but the lights are off, so it's a good sign telling me that they are closed. Back on the main street. Now we need to cross the road. Okay, let's dive in. Truck on the left. Everything cool on the right. Safely cross the road. Okay, some people are working. Not everyone is taking a midday nap, which is a custom in Vietnam. And here we go again, rain. No raincoat, no umbrella, so I'll just push on to get back to the hotel. So I am back at my hotel. I think this will be the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.